Good day, everyone. Welcome to Prague, Czech Republic. The name alone conjures up images, doesn't it? Medieval castles, cobblestone streets, mysterious alleyways. It's like stepping into a fairy tale, only with better beer. And cheaper. Did I mention the beer? This ain't your typical tourist trap, folks. Prague has layers like a damn onion, but instead of making you cry, each layer reveals something fascinating. History, art, food that'll make you want to slap your mama. In a good way, of course. So come on. Let's ditch the guidebook and explore Prague the right way, with open minds, empty stomachs, and a thirst for adventure. And Pilsner Urquell. Lots of Pilsner Urquell. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel and like this video for more amazing content. First things first, you gotta hit up Prague Castle. Yeah, it's touristy, but for good reason. This sprawling complex is basically a crash course in Czech history, from ancient kings to communist rule. Plus, the view from the top? Forget about it. Now I know what you're thinking. Gordon, all this history is making me thirsty. Don't worry, I got you. Time for a beer break. And not just any beer. We're talking about Czech beer, baby. The good stuff. Head down to the Old Town Square and grab a seat at one of the many outdoor cafes. Order yourself a Pilsner Urquell, when in Rome, right? And just soak it all in. The stunning architecture, the lively crowds, the street performers. This is Prague, people. And speaking of the Astronomical Clock, don't forget to check that out. Every hour, on the hour, it puts on a little show. Is it cheesy? Sure. Is it entertaining? Absolutely. Besides, it's a great excuse to grab another beer while you wait. If you enjoyed this stroll through Prague, make sure to like and subscribe to my channel for more travel adventures. All right, let's talk food. Czech cuisine might not be as famous as, say, Italian or French, but trust me, it's damn good. Hearty, flavorful, and perfect for soaking up all that beer you'll be drinking. Start with a classic Svíčková na smetaně. It's a beef sirloin dish with this creamy sauce that'll make you want to lick the plate clean. Don't worry, I won't judge. Next up, you gotta try some goulash. Now I know what you're thinking. Goulash? That's Hungarian, ain't it? And you're right, kinda. But the Czechs make a mean goulash too, and it's not to be missed. For something a little lighter, there's always the open-faced sandwiches called Chlebíčky. They come with all sorts of toppings, from ham and cheese to potato salad. Perfect for a quick lunch or a snack on the go. And of course, no trip to Prague is complete without trying some trdelník. It's this pastry that's cooked over an open fire and then coated in sugar and cinnamon. Sweet, warm, and absolutely irresistible. Now, I know you didn't come all the way to Prague to just see the same old tourist traps everyone else sees. So let's get off the beaten path, shall we? First up, we're heading to Vyšehrad. It's this fortress that sits on a hill overlooking the city, and it's got some of the best views in town. Plus, it's way less crowded than Prague Castle. Winning. Next, let's check out the Jewish quarter. It's a bit somber, sure, but it's an important part of Prague's history. The old Jewish cemetery is particularly moving, with thousands of tombstones dating back centuries. For something a little more lighthearted, head to Kampa Island. It's this little island in the middle of the Vltava River, and it's got a totally different vibe than the rest of the city. More laid back, more bohemian. Plus, there's a wall covered in John Lennon-inspired graffiti. Peace, man. And speaking of art, no trip to Prague is complete without a visit to the Dock Center for Contemporary Art. It's one of the coolest contemporary art museums I've ever been to, with thought-provoking exhibitions that'll stay with you long after you leave. Here's the thing about Prague. It's a city made for wandering. The streets are narrow and winding, and you never know what you're gonna find around the next corner. A hidden courtyard, a quirky little shop, a bar that's been there since the Middle Ages. So put away the map, ditch the itinerary, and just start walking. Let yourself get lost in the labyrinthine alleyways of the old town and see where you end up. Trust me, you won't regret it. One of my favorite things to do in Prague is just to pick a direction and walk until I find a bar that looks interesting. And let me tell you, there are a lot of interesting bars in this city. From traditional Czech pubs to trendy cocktail bars, there's something for everyone. And hey, if you get truly lost, don't panic, just ask a local for directions. Most people in Prague speak at least some English, and they're generally pretty friendly and helpful. Plus, you might just end up having an unexpected conversation with a stranger and discovering a new hidden gem. Speaking of hidden gems, let's talk about the John Lennon Wall. It's this wall in a little square near the French embassy. And it's been covered in John Lennon-inspired graffiti since the 1980s. Peace signs, lyrics from Beatles songs, portraits of the man himself. It's a powerful symbol of peace and freedom, and it's a must-see for any music lover visiting Prague. Plus, it's a great place to snap some Instagram-worthy photos. But the John Lennon Wall is more than just a tourist attraction. It's a living, breathing work of art that's constantly evolving. People from all over the world come to leave their mark on the wall, adding their own messages of peace, love, and hope. So grab a can of spray paint, don't worry, it's legal, and leave your own mark on history. Or just sit back, relax, and soak up the positive vibes. Either way, the John Lennon Wall is an experience you won't soon forget. Prague is magical, no doubt about it. But when the sun goes down and the lights come on, it takes on a whole different kind of magic. The Charles Bridge, which is already stunning during the day, becomes even more romantic at night, all lit up and reflected in the water. And the nightlife? Don't even get me started. Prague has a reputation for being a party city, and for good reason. There are bars and clubs to suit every taste, from traditional pubs to underground techno clubs. But even if you're not into clubbing, there's plenty to do in Prague at night. Take a stroll through the Old Town Square, which is even more atmospheric after dark. Or catch a classical music concert at one of the city's many churches. And if you're feeling adventurous, check out one of Prague's many absinthe bars. Absinthe, for those of you who don't know, is a highly alcoholic drink that was once favored by artists and writers like Hemingway and Baudelaire. It's said to have hallucinogenic properties, but I'll let you be the judge of that. Just drink responsibly, folks. Section 7. Don't be a tourist, be a traveler. Tips for blending in. Now, I know you don't want to be that tourist when you're in Prague. You know the type. Fanny pack, map in hand, looking lost and confused. Don't worry, I got you. Here are a few tips for blending in with the locals. First, learn a few basic Czech phrases. Even just Dobrý den, hello, and Děkuji, thank you, will go a long way. The locals will appreciate the effort even if your pronunciation is terrible. Second, ditch the tourist traps. I know. I've been recommending some pretty touristy things in this essay, but there's a difference between appreciating the must-sees and falling into every tourist trap in sight. Third, get out of the Old Town. The Old Town is beautiful, but it's also the most touristy part of Prague. Venture out into some of the other neighborhoods like Vyšehrad or Letna, and you'll get a more authentic taste of local life. And finally, be respectful. Remember that you're a guest in someone else's country. Be mindful of local customs, don't be loud and obnoxious. And for God's sake, don't wear socks with sandals. Section 8. The sound of music. No, not that one. Prague's music scene. Prague is a city with a rich musical history. Mozart premiered Don Giovanni here, and the city has been a center for classical music ever since. But Prague's music scene is far from stuck in the past. From jazz clubs to underground techno parties, there's something for everyone here. And if you're lucky, you might even stumble across a free concert in one of the city's many parks. One of my favorite places to catch a show is the Jazz Dock. It's this cool little club on the banks of the Vltava River, and they have live jazz every night of the week. The atmosphere is intimate, the drinks are strong, and the music is always top-notch. And if you're looking for something a little more contemporary, check out the Meat Factory. It's this multifunctional space that hosts everything from concerts to art exhibitions to theater performances. They have a constantly rotating lineup of local and international artists, so there's always something new and interesting to see. Section 9. Leaving Prague, but already planning your return. Leaving Prague is always bittersweet. On the one hand, you're probably exhausted from all the sightseeing, beer drinking, and Trdelník eating. On the other hand, you'll probably be sad to leave this magical city behind. But hey, at least you'll have all those memories and maybe a few souvenirs to take home with you. And who knows, maybe you'll even be inspired to learn a little Czech so you can impress the locals on your next visit. Because let's face it, once Prague gets under your skin, it's hard to shake. It's a city that stays with you long after you've left, calling you back to explore its hidden corners and experience its unique charm once again. So don't fight it. Book that return ticket, pack your bags, and get ready to fall in love with Prague all over again. Conclusion: Prague, you gotta see it to believe it. So there you have it, folks. Prague, a city of history, culture, beauty, and damn good beer. It's a place where you can wander for hours, discovering something new around every corner, a place where you can eat like a king, or at least a very happy peasant, and a place where you can party until the sun comes up, or just enjoy a quiet beer by the river. But hey, don't take my word for it. Go see for yourself. Book that ticket, pack your bags, and get ready for an adventure. Trust me, Prague won't disappoint. And hey, if you do go, drop me a line and let me know what you think. Until then, happy travels, and na zdraví!